What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the football classroom. I am going to show you guys today how to defend. If you guys are not Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi, or Neymar, then you need to listen to this video and you need to watch the entire thing through. I'm going to discuss different principles, different ideas, and different tactics that you need to know for individual defending and team defending, all in this video. Okay, so make sure you guys watch till the very end. Make sure you guys check the description for various resources after this video, and then also go through the playlist, go through the tactics and stuff like that, and see what you like. So let's get into the video without further ado. Peace. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the football classroom. Let's get into this video. I'm going to show you guys how to defend. First of all, what is defending? When your team does not have possession of the ball, your team is defending. Andrew, this is so obvious, but we're going to get into the nuts and bolts. We just have to define our terms right now. So what is defending when your team does not have possession of the ball? Now, there are two types of defending. Number one is team defending, which we just discussed just now, and we have individual defending. Team defending is when your team does not have possession of the ball, you are defending. We just talked about this. The keys to team defending are going to be what your role and responsibility is at any given position. So wherever the ball is on the pitch, do you know where to be? Okay? As always, you should have pen and paper out, but ask yourself, do I know where to be if the ball is here? If the ball is here? If the ball is here? You should know where you are supposed to be, your role and your responsibility at any given position on the pitch. If you don't know, make sure you guys check the link in the description. I just released a video. If you guys are watching this when it first came out, the video has not come out yet, but check the link in the description and see if it is available at that time. So make sure you go check out that video, link in the description. Okay, so other keys to defending, team defending. Which principle should I utilize now? These are the questions you should be asking yourself in the game. Which principle should I utilize now? And now you're thinking, Andrew, what the heck is a principle? Later in the video, I'm going to go over each principle of defending so that you know. But make sure you're writing this question down because we're going to come back to it. And then lastly, the tactics in the game plan. Sometimes this is specific to an opposition. The opponent you're playing, say, it's PSG taking on Bayern Munich. PSG does have to be aware of Bayern Munich's strengths. However, if you're playing on a Sunday, you don't necessarily need to be focused too much on the opponent, but it could. So we've talked about the team defending. Now, I really want to get into the nuts and bolts of individual defending. And at the end, we're going to bring it all together so you know exactly what to do in any given position. So what is individual defending? When you do not have the ball and you are called to make an action to stop an opponent, okay? When you are called into action, that is defending for this video. That is the definition of defending for this video when it comes to individual defending, okay? So for example, if you're number 11 in this situation, I'm not necessarily talking to you. I'm going to have one of the principles is going to deal with the furthest guy from the ball. However, for right now, we're only focused on this player, the closest to the ball or one of the closest players to the ball. That's what we're going to be focusing on here in the next 5 minutes. Now, how do I know when I am activated? So where on the pitch, when is the time that I know that I'm quote unquote activated as a defender? Great question. But first, you have to know these three things, okay? First, you need to have pen and paper out. If you do not, you're going to get confused. So make sure you are writing these things down. You are in the football classroom. You are not here to be entertained. You are here to be educated. So first thing you need to know are the principles of defending. Principle number one is pressure. This is the most important principle of them all. You have to know the principles of defending, but most importantly, you have to know pressure. You have to know what pressure is. So when I ask you right now, what is pressure? Do you have an answer or do you know? Or have you just heard pressure? Well, guess what? I'm going to tell you right now. Also, how do I know if I'm putting enough pressure? I see 99% of young players under the age of 20, not putting pressure on the ball. They think they're putting pressure, but you're not putting pressure. So what is pressure? Pressure is what number 10 is doing here. However, how do you know you're putting enough pressure? You need to ask yourself these two questions. Number one, can they get their head up? If I can get my head up, you do not have enough pressure on the ball. Number 2, are they able to be quote unquote dangerous? What's the definition of dangerous, Andrew? Well, I'm going to tell you, there are 3 dangers that you need to be looking for as a defender. It doesn't matter what position you play. From goalkeeper to forward, you should be looking for these 3 dangers when you're on defense. When you're on the defense, you need to be focused on these 3 things. Number 1 is the ball over the top. This is very, very serious because guess what? I've taken out the entire team with 1 pass. That's very, very dangerous. Very, very serious problem. The second danger is the ball between the lines. Okay, the ball between the lines. And then lastly is the switch. Okay, you should be writing these down. Now, notice how many lines are taken out with each pass. With this one right here, we can see right here. You can see right here that we've taken out 1 line, 2 lines, 3 and 4 lines right here. With 1 pass. With 1 pass. So that's how you know that that is the most dangerous thing that a player can do. That's how you know. Now, the other thing is, looking at this, we've taken out 1, 2, 3 lines. And then the last one, we've taken out 1, maybe 2 lines. So that's how you know how dangerous this situation is. If we take out every single line with 1 pass, then you now know that you have made a big mistake, right? So, continuing on. How do we stop danger? That is the question. Andrew, you've told me about danger. I understand it. No ball over the top. No ball between the lines. No ball switched. So how do we stop the danger? First and foremost, pressure. It's that simple. Put pressure on the ball. If you put pressure on the ball like number 7, he can't play the ball over the top. He can't play the ball through the lines. And he can't switch the ball. So that's why pressure is the most important thing. Now, number 2, is it possible to stop all the danger? Yes. Cover comes in principle number 2. Good pressure can take away 90% of the danger. Cover is focused on stopping the other 10%. Okay? That's the most important thing. You have pressure that stops 90% of the danger. But say something happens, say they get beat, say the pass trickles through, they can't get their head up to play the long ball, but say they have a quick pass around the side. That's where cover comes in. And now you have principle number 3. So we've worked on pressure, we've worked on cover, and now we have balance. Balance is when you take the full field into consideration. I have seen many, many, many young players, young teams, coaches included, need to watch this. I've seen unbalanced teams on every single pitch on every single Saturday and Sunday. This is an unbalanced team. If I was to draw a line from one goal to the other, would I have, more than 75, 80% of my players on one side of the field? That means I'm unbalanced. If I drew a line from the middle of the field, from one side of the field to the other side of the field, would I have a large majority of my players above the line or below the line? We must be balanced. We must have our right center back on the right side, our left center back on the other side, and we can both deal with the number 9. Once we put good pressure on the ball, we don't have to be on top of the attacking player that we're marking, and we can wait for that pressure to put pressure. Very, very simple stuff that no one's doing. If you are not engaged in the pressure or cover portion, you must still be aware of the 3 dangers. Just because we're putting pressure on the ball does not mean that I don't need to worry about the ball over the top. Just because we're putting good pressure doesn't mean I don't need to be focused on the ball that's switched. Or just because our forward is putting good pressure on the goalkeeper doesn't mean that I don't need to be focused on allowing them to play between the lines. Always have that in the back of your head. Now, in a nutshell, let's put it all together. Number one, pressure. Pressure is the most important thing you need to take away from this video. You need to be putting proper pressure on the ball. This is typically the closest player to the ball puts pressure. If you are unorganized and your forward is now playing center back and your center back's now playing left mid and vice versa, normally it's the closest player to the ball that needs to put pressure and stop the long ball over the top. Stop the ball in between the lines. Stop the switch. Good pressure equals no head up and no danger. Okay, so what does that leave us? That leaves us with a ball played backwards, or a missed pass, or they try to play it down the line and they can't. Right? A blocked pass, a blocked shot, whatever it is. No head up and no danger. Cover, the other 10%. We've put good pressure on the ball. His head is down. His or her head is down. Where's the other place that they can possibly play? You need to be reactive to pressure. If we put good pressure on the ball, you can be a little bit more, you can take a little bit more risk in putting pressure on the next person, on that 10%. Okay, so you're reactive to the pressure. If we put bad pressure, then you need to lay off a little bit on that 10%. Good cover equals decisive when pressure breaks down. So if our right mid puts high press on the left back and the left back gets past our right mid, I need to be decisive. And because now, once pressure is broken, the cover now becomes the pressure. The balance now becomes the cover. And then we have a fourth one that I'm going to go over here in a second. Balance, cut the field in halves. Okay, so from goal to goal, from touchline to touchline, down the middle, cut the field in halves, and make sure that we are balanced at all times. Make sure you are balancing the ship. We don't all want to be on one side, and we want to make sure that we have balance at all times. Be aware of the other dangers. That is the key to good balance, is being aware of the other dangers. If we put pressure on the ball and they can no longer play a long ball, but the pressure is not good enough that we are about to allow play between the lines, then I need to be aware of that. And that's how I need to be prepared balance-wise. If we put good pressure on the ball and they can't play forward, but the switch is on, I need to be aware of that and create balance there. Lastly, one I didn't go over is depth, because we need to be able to take up the whole field. Okay? So we can't all be putting pressure, cover, and balance. We also have to have, typically, outside mids, outside backs need to have depth. Okay? Now we have depth, length, and width. So typically the forward creates the length. The forward and the center backs create the length. We don't want to have a 50, 60, 70-yard gap in the middle. So we have to have our depth correct. And then typically our left and right mids and backs create the width. So you need to have both to be successful. If you're not going forward enough, you probably have a length problem. If you're not going side to side enough, you probably have a width problem. Now, your homework is to watch a full match. Notice how the different players move and try to identify if they are pressing, covering, giving balance, or providing depth. This is your homework. Make sure you guys get it done. Let me know on Instagram or here in the comments how your homework goes. And also, as a bonus, comment below if you want me to go over a video, go over a full match, and go through it in real time, telling you if it's pressure, cover, balance, or depth. Let me know in the comments. I'm not going to do it unless you guys tell me, because I don't want to waste my time. But if you find that it will give you value, let me know. So with all that said, watch this video next. Make sure you guys don't forget to subscribe. Thank you guys again for coming to the Football Classroom. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.